Hello, gurus and prospective gurus. My name is Mark Nunakoven, and I teach Mastering the Well-Architected Framework and a couple other courses over on the A-Cloud Guru platform. Now, Mastering the Well-Architected Framework, it covers the entire framework in depth, and I've recently re-recorded the entire course to provide you with the latest information around the well-architected framework. The course's goal is to help teach you how to build better in the AWS cloud. Now, right after I wrapped the last recording session, a brand new lens was published, the Streaming Media Lens. And we're going to cover that here in this video. This is bonus content for the course, and it also acts as a little bit of a sneak preview. If you like what you see in this video, head over to the A-Cloud Guru platform, be sure to sign up and check out my course, Mastering the Well-Architected Framework, as well as all the latest content from the other gurus. The Streaming Media Lens takes a deeper dive into the challenges around building a solution that will be able to deliver video or audio or any other type of streaming content to a global audience. Now, this is really about reliability. Just simply sending a video to a destination might be simple, but can you do that to thousands of destinations at the same time in a consistent manner? What about live video? Well, that's what this paper dives into. It's looking at these challenges of doing video at scale or audio at scale, really just any kind of content that you might want to send out to an audience, whether that's on demand, live, or ad supported. Now, there are really two ways of looking at this, but the more interesting aspect is looking at the streaming media layer itself. And that starts with an origin. Where's your content coming from? If it's a live stream, it may be coming from somebody's phone. If it's pre-recorded content, it could be coming from an S3 bucket. But we have our origin that feeds into some sort of ingestion system. So you're pulling in this content in order to potentially transcode it, which means change it from one format to another to optimize it for delivery. That's part of that processing layer where you're pulling it in through the ingestion, you're transcoding during processing, and you're sending it out, whether you're enriching it or sending it out as is. Finally, it's that delivery. How are you getting it out to that audience? How are they receiving it? Is it through mobile? Is it through a desktop? Is it broadcast? There's any number of options here. And of course, that will depend on the client that's consuming it. If we think of a big streaming service, you could be consuming that from your phone, from your tablet, from your desktop, from your TV, or any number of potential scenarios. So we have origin, ingest, processing, delivery, and finally the client. And of course, overall, you're going to want to be monitoring that to make sure that it works well. This whole lens is fueled by a few simple design principles, and they're not too hard to guess, but they're absolutely a challenge to implement and maintain. First of all, consider the entire pipeline. The user experience or the audience experience here is absolutely critical. So if you're watching something live, you want to make sure that it's live. You want the lowest amount of latency possible. You don't want to have a huge amount of buffering. You don't want people delayed. You want people to be able to actually jump on that stream and share in that event. And similarly, if you're dealing with on-demand content, you want whatever they've requested to be served back to them in a timely manner. But for that to happen, you need to think about the whole pipeline through all those stages that we just talked about. It's also really important to know your audience. What type of devices are they coming in from? Can you get metrics on what's being consumed, what they're fast forwarding through, what they're skipping beyond? Understanding your audience will actually help you tailor your service and deliver a better overall experience while meeting your business goals. That is really what's driving this, is your business goals. And normally that's serving that audience, but obviously there's a motivation there. Are you trying to teach them? Are you delivering entertainment? Are you trying to sell something to them? But you need to understand what's actually important, because that's going to tailor your design solution. If it's important that you're streaming this live event out, you want to make sure that that latency is low as possible so that people can actually see it live and share in the experience. But this is also going to customize what you're delivering. Do you have a chat function in your streaming media platform? Well, is it more important than the content? You need to figure that out. Sometimes it might be, sometimes it might not be. So understanding what's important is going to help tailor your design to optimize for that key aspect. And then you want to plan for failures. We've all seen this time and time again throughout all the other lenses and all the other solutions we've been building for the AWS cloud. Things happen. You need to plan for that failure. You need to figure out how you're going to recover from that, how you're going to communicate that to your audience, and what you can do as far as plan redundancies and things like that. So working through those scenarios ahead of time is absolutely critical. So there are three main scenarios. They're all similar, but there are unique concerns for each of them. And the lens breaks down into these three areas, and you'll find more details within the paper, which I always recommend that you read directly. These videos and this course really gives you an overview and some of the key takeaways, but you're going to get more if you actually read the paper. And so the three areas here, we have on demand. So this is content where you can request it as a user, which means you have, if you have 1,000 people, they could be requesting 1,000 different pieces of content, and you need to optimize your infrastructure for that. If we compare that to a live scenario, this is where you have one or two origins, so they're all looking at the same thing. If you have those 1,000 users again, maybe they're all watching one thing, or maybe one or two or three things, but it's a live experience. So latency and the overall experience are absolutely critical here. And then finally, you have this third scenario of ad supported. Now, ad supported can be live or on demand, but the reason why this is called out as a scenario is that you have a different set of concerns here. You need to be able to deliver the advertisements within the stream, or before or after or during an on-demand video, and actually capture metrics from there so you can report back to the advertisers whether or not the ad was seen, whether it was responded to positively or negatively, things like that. So the streaming lens breaks it down into on-demand, live, and ad-supported, which pretty much covers every kind of streaming media scenario that you could think of. Now, relating this back to the AWS well-architected framework and the 5 pillars is always a key part of the lens. And here, instead of calling out each individual pillar, we have concerns that actually go across multiple. So a big one is, will this stream scale to the potential audience? So this is a critical aspect, and it goes to reliability, it goes to performance, and it goes to operational excellence. So will you be able to stream your content up to the size of the audience? If you're streaming a concert, if it's a local band, you may have to support a couple hundred destinations. If it's an extremely popular, globally known band, you may be having millions of destinations and clients that are pulling down the stream at the same time. Can your design handle the scenario that lines up with your expectation, plus a little more, because you just want to make sure that you're going to get there if things are more popular than expected? Similarly, will that experience be consistent? Will it be enjoyable? Are users in North America going to get the same experience as users in Asia Pacific or in Europe? So you need that consistent experience. Is it enjoyable? Is it the same between a tablet and a phone, or a computer and a phone? What are those considerations? And again, this comes across all of the pillars of reliability, operational excellence. It goes across performance efficiency. We also have the challenge of, can you actually deliver this content effectively? A lot of the time in streaming scenarios, one of the weakest points is between the origin and the ingestion. So you've built this entire system in the cloud. Do you have a reliable connection to the cloud to deliver it? That's where the dependency between a localized version versus a global version may come into play, or you may actually switch away from live into on-demand, because that's a concern. If you're out in the wilderness trying to stream from your phone and you don't have a great connection, that's something you need to consider. You need to figure that out, and that crosses, of course, operational excellence, performance efficiency, as well as reliability. Also, what happens if things go wrong? I put this in a positive manner, but really something's going to go wrong. So how do you handle that? How do you provide and plan for that failure mode? Of course, you're going to game day this out. We talked about game days earlier in the course. You're going to work through this before you go into production, but this crosses into reliability, operational excellence, security. These are all critical aspects of making sure you can handle when things go wrong. Now, the Streaming Media Lens is a really interesting deeper dive into the world of streaming media. It highlights some key AWS services that can help you with this. You can also do a lot of this on your own through containers or EC2 instances. It really depends on what the scenario is, but you should obviously always be checking for those managed services first, because that's a critical aspect of building well in the AWS cloud. It's really all about getting your content out to the audience, regardless of the device they're using or where they're connecting in from. You want to be able to deliver great content at scale, regardless of the scenario. You want to be able to do it over and over again. This is a look at the Streaming Media Lens. It's part of the AWS well-architected framework. Again, this is part of a larger course available on the A Cloud Guru platform called Mastering the Well-Architected Framework. Head over to ACG, sign up, check it out.